Right, guys, very warm welcome to you all. I'm Devang Mehra, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. And we're done with finally the month of September, volatile monthly expiry. Even when the markets were coming down, they were coming down in such confusion that if you were a small player or if you were someone like me, you really had a roller coaster ride today. But it was fun. It was fun. Markets always teach you something new, and they always prepare you for the next expiry. So this monthly expiry, a lot of you will remember when you're trading the October, November monthly expiries. But now we're done with all these hassles. Markets are now free to do what they want to do. We talked about this in detail, how markets will not break out or break down before the expiry. And if anything has to happen, it'll always happen after the expiry. So now the markets have broken out of those shackles. So let the market now decide what it wants to do. We're in the first week of October, starting from tomorrow, and Fridays and Mondays are known to be trending days. So let's observe and let's talk about, by looking at the charts, what can happen in the markets. I hope you had a good day today. I worked very hard today in giving you exact tops and bottoms and some good hand-picked entries in equity as well as in options. Gave you a great hero zero trade. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about the messages that I've sent on Telegram in the second half. We've talked about the first half already, but in the last 1-2 hours, a lot of important things happened in the markets. And I want to talk about that because that will set a parameter of what we should be doing forward. A request that I have from each and every one of you, if you're new to my channel, a lot of you must be coming from our old TFA channel. You all know my format of how I do videos. But if anyone's new to my channel, I'll put a very simple suggestion or a request. Please don't let this video be the first one that you watch. Make sure you watch all my videos in series in conjunction with the others, because eventually what I'm talking about today is nothing but an addition to what I talked about yesterday and day before yesterday. So make sure you are watching my videos in series so you understand my view and you're intact with what all stocks I am holding or whatever I'm doing in the market. So just wanted to give you that disclaimer. And yeah, good to have you all back. It's always a pleasure to have you all back. I'm enjoying YouTube. I've come back on YouTube and I'm really enjoying it. I came early today, so I'm going to talk a lot today. I'm known to talk a lot, and that's why you are here on my channel. But please like, share, subscribe, comment if you are enjoy watching these videos. It means a lot to me. And if you want to reach out to me at any point of time, I'm not active a lot of times on YouTube, so you can always come for a chit chat on my Instagram channel. I'm going to leave a link in the description. It's Instagram at Devang Mehra, and you can always email me your professional doubts or whatever that you have, which is devang@devangmehra.com and tanisha@devangmehra.com, which is my executive manager. So I'm going to leave all the links in the description. So I think let's get started before we waste too much of time. I'll hide all these tools and let's keep things very, very simple. And I think this is something which was very easy that happened in the markets. I gave you this very simple trend line today. And I said, if this trend line breaks in Nifty, just don't be, I think it was something like this. I'm very sorry. I said, just don't be, So I said, just don't be long if this trend line breaks. One very crucial level that we were holding was the level of 17,673. That was something which was very, very major. And eventually around 12 o'clock, 12:30, when the European market started opening, this pivot level that we had started to break. And that was a flip level for us because, the entire day markets are moving in a range. Please try to learn these things. Today morning when I woke up, I just want you to understand how I'm interpreting the market, because I think these are the points that'll help you understand the market better. Don't just come to my channel for looking for trades or calls, but just understand. This is one very important thing which we talked about yesterday. I said FIIs are building shorts, which is something not common to the eye. So let us observe. And I gave you a very detailed voice note last time, and I hope this helped, because everything that was shown in the data today has actually played out. Data was suggesting a hero zero put on the downside because of FIs going short on the futures, and a lot of FIs building up positions on the negative side, and that has played out well. It's actually blessed us. For a moment, I thought that the markets are breaking out, especially Bank Nifty, but it faked out. I took an SL, we all took an SL, and eventually made huge 150% gains on that put. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But so I talked about this. See, understand, 9 o'clock, 20 minutes. I came on Telegram and I said for something very simple. The first 15 minutes are huge, which means you have to stay in the range. And I gave you levels 673, 675. They are very, very important levels. And we will go short only when the markets start to come below these levels. And this was a pivot Understand, when the markets are in a very big range, don't trade aggressively unless until that range breaks. It did try to break but failed eventually. When it broke down, when 673 broke down, you got a couple of inside bars and the market kept on going down and down and down. You got a great stop out entry here, but again it continued down. So it was not easy. If you were long, if you were short, it was not easy. Markets were stopping you out, but you just had to believe in yourself. You had to believe in the setup that you're working on. I talked about Bank Nifty as well. I talked about the levels of Bank Nifty. I gave you this triangle. It's still on the screen. I think there's something I put up on the community tab as well. And I said, if the triangle breaks, please be bullish and you can always go long in the markets. And the triangle never broke out on the upside. I thought it's going out. I took an entry on 37,800 zero calls. I took a 30 or 25 point stop loss. I sent on that telegram as well. But again, please understand, it's very, very important that you should be a chameleon in the market. Never ever get emotionally attached to trades. I think that's very, very important. And this is something I want to show you what I have done. Yep, over here. So this is something that I bought. I bought 350 quantities. So please see how I reduce my quantities when I am trading on expiries, because most money is lost on expiries. I've made it very, very clear on my Telegram channel today. I bought around 156 and I took a 30-point stop loss because the trade wasn't working in my direction. And I think that's very important. So whenever the trade's not working, so when the markets broke out and it was trying to come down, things were not looking very fine or very good to me, I exited. Whenever you have to cling on to hope, just take an exit. It's always better to be out of the market than to be in. And eventually, when the market started breaking the levels that we had mentioned, yesterday's support levels, yesterday. So if you look at this level, which we had mentioned yesterday over here, 37,000, 673. When these levels started to break, markets were actually getting weak and weak and weak. And banks and IT eventually started to fall and fall and fall. And banking sector saw a very big plunge. We took an entry over here. We took 60. We took some very, very fine entries over here. I made you all buy 37,800 puts. I bought it quite early, sent it a little bit late in the market. So anyone who had bought it even after I did, I think when I sent it, it was around 140, 150, and it made an intraday high of about 300 plus levels on the chart. So this was good. So trading is personal. A lot of times I'm not able to give you that pinpoint entry, but just keep learning these logic with me, because that is how you will build up your profile, build up your trading journey. Let me know how many guys made money on this idea. Comment below. I got a lot of screenshots on Instagram, uploaded there on my story. So thank you all for the love. Thank you all for the support. It's all on you guys, and love you all for the love that you give me. But markets kept on coming down and down and down and down. And eventually we gave another great idea that I mentioned to you guys was Galaxy Surf. You guys must have read it off my Telegram. Galaxy has just, done very well. People who booked intraday must be in massive profit, but I'm still holding Galaxy. We got a good, basically what we're doing is we're trying to buy this retest with a stop loss very, very small. The idea is because a lot of us have bought Galaxy somewhere around 29.50 levels. That's the time when we gave you that recommendation. And this is a very good time. I believe a good dips come in the market. And that's a very good place where you can average your existing trades plus put a stop loss and trail it below these areas at 31.50 levels approximately. So that is basically what I have done. I also gave you a couple of more ideas. So for example, Excite is currently not working out. And I mentioned today that please take an exit right now because it's not working out. So it's still not, moved a lot to make a person get worried. But as I said, my job is to give you magnet trades. Either you take a 1-point SL or you don't. Simple. If you don't want to take an SL, then you just are following your basic rules that you're doing. If I'm giving you a trade with a 1 rupee SL, take the SL, because my 1 rupee SL trades generally go up 5:1, 6:1, kind of risk reward. So Excite is not working out. My suggestion will be take your 1 rupee SL or so and just get out. It's not big. If you bought anything, it's going to be just 1 rupee SL. Just take it. Apologies for the trade, but I'm happy the SL is not big, because anything that you lost in Excite should have been gained much more than that in Galaxy Surf, which went up 3-4% after our trigger. Another thing was HDFC. That's another one I mentioned. Again, HDFC still SL has not been triggered, but I have already said please get out. So I think if anyone bought it today and even got out, should have taken like 1-2 rupee of loss. So that does not matter. I'll tell you all why I have told you to exit in a little bit, but just try to understand the idea that I've been using on your Telegram channel is that I want to give you trades with a very, very small stop loss. If they get triggered, we're out. If they don't get triggered, we will sit for huge, huge profits. Remember one thing, if I give you 10 trades, 4 or 5 will go in loss. but their losses will be just 1 rupee, 2 rupee, or just hardly there. So just understand that. And when the profits come in, they will be huge. Like Bank Nifty today, like Nifty yesterday. They will be huge, like HCL Tech yesterday. The other thing about stocks like HCL Tech, now HCL Tech is still above our cost. We bought it around 1270 levels and it is still above our cost. There's nothing to worry. But what analysis that I will do today, it will help you decide what can you understand tomorrow. So just try to connect the dots for tomorrow. Let's talk about Nifty. One, two messages that I feel are very important that I want to touch base on. Number one, be a chameleon, never be emotionally attached to a trade. Number two was this very important thing that I feel people who missed out should understand. I took this trade of 17,500 call, made a good 7,000-8,000 at the end of the day after we made money on the puts. Why was that? Because when the markets were coming down, VIX was not increasing. This is something I feel is very important that you guys should understand. I'll show you the charts of Nifty. If you want 15 minutes out of Nifty. So the market started to plunge. And when the markets came to this support of 600, 620, the VIX was not increasing. I think even at the end of the day, VIX closed down 2.5%. Now, when the markets are falling down, but even the VIX is coming down, this gives me an indication that the markets maybe don't want to plunge down very sharply and very fast. And when the markets, when you buy a put or when you take a short in the market, markets have to fall fast. So because of that, that was the reason on support, I took a call. And on one very fine candle, we made some huge money from, I think, 620 went till 673. Again, that's the level I'm talking about, 673. That's why I said yesterday, my levels are quite precise. That's why we talk about magnet trades all the time. The other thing that I mentioned is Himalaya talked about the Abuja trade, so you can always consult him. The other thing, this is very, very important. I said if the market again comes to 17,600, it will become fragile. Then do not be in any long. And I think this will, then don't think it will be able to manage more hits from the bank. And this was very, very important. I think this was one message that had saved me personally in the end, 1.5 hours. And this was something that should have saved you guys a lot. Please try to understand what was really happening. After a 60-70 point jump on bank on Nifty, again markets are coming down back to that support. I do understand it could be expiry related issues. I totally understand that. But as a price action trader or as a trader, as a disciplined person in the markets, you have to understand something. If the markets are coming to the same level again and again and again, the level becomes fragile. Yes, it is important, but it becomes fragile, which means that it can break easily. So that is the reason that I said, please, if you're coming back to the level again, just exit longs. If you're in any longs, exit. And that's exactly what happened. Markets gave you quite lower levels. I think the low today was around 585, 580 levels. And eventually those things have worked out. So every single thing, today I was very active. And I think at one point of time, you guys must have been damn, annoyed with me because of the alerts that you're getting on Telegram. But again, we're doing intraday and it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of understanding of how things are working. So let me know overall if you were assisted today by my ideas, by my direction of the market. And as I said, I'm back on YouTube. I'm back. I had a 1.5, 2 month hiatus, 2 month break. People have this counter how many times they want me to say hiatus, but I do say it a lot. I love the word. So I'd had a 2 month break. Why was I out? I will share everything in detail. A lot of things I've been doing in the last 2 months, and I'm excited to bring it out to you. But as we say, cross the bridge when it comes. So that was basically all about today. And I just said that please be careful in the longs. I gave you an idea on HDFC. Eventually, Nifty Finance even broke out 15-minute lows. So I said just exit everything, exit anything. Take your 1 rupee SL and just get out and be safe. Eventually, I don't want a 1 rupee SL converting into a 10, 20 rupee SL because of unfavorable overnight positions. So that was the idea about today's Telegram. If you haven't, by the way, joined my Telegram, Himalaya is always active here. It's called TFA Investments. Just join. I'll try to put a link in this description below. And follow me on Instagram, guys. I'm very active there. A lot of ideas crop up there because I have different audience on Instagram, YouTube, and Telegram. So I try to put different ideas at different places. Yep, let's talk about today's market, shall we? I think I talked a lot. I think more than talking about the markets, I talk about what's really happening, etc. And I think I find it better. I'll be very honest with you. It's in the last, I think, 1.5, 2 years I've been on YouTube. I want to talk more about what we've done and less about what can happen in the future, because already tomorrow I'll be live in the market helping you out. But I want you to learn the mistakes that you might have made today, or whatever you have done right today, just register it in your mind, because that is something which will help you out in the future. Don't make it a one-off gain or a one-off loss. Make sure this is going to continue in the future consistently. Let's talk about the markets. First of all, let's get the data of what's the cash market data. I think that'll come out in some time. I'll put it up on Telegram when it does. Even today, the derivative data is not very important because it's the expiry. But again, it comes out around 9:30 because of expiry. So we'll talk about that later. But eventually, the data that was yesterday was true. It was true and it was fair. I'll explain. I think it's important that I explain that as well, because a lot of you guys are new, a lot of you guys are unaware of these things. But if you see this data, you can see how FIIs went short on the index. You can see how FIIs are increasing puts. You can see how FIIs are reducing stock futures tremendously. And you can also see how it is you and me who have gone bullish in the market. So that is why markets really had to come down. It had to come down. So let's observe, is the data going to continue disappointment like this? Because if it does, already the macros are against us. Already the macros are against us. The dollar index, uncharted territory. I've talked about that again and again, even on my Instagram, even on Telegram. 94.3, it's a 1-year high. It's uncharted territory. UK oil coming down. Reliance will probably be weaker tomorrow, which is again not good for the markets. 10-year yields again continue upward trajectory. I don't know what's going to happen in the markets. One advice I'll give you, if the markets start to break down tomorrow, just be careful. Sit on some cash, so that when the markets dip out, maybe at 17,400 levels approximately, we can do some purchases, because that is a very, very important level. 17,400, 17,500, they are very, very important supports for the long term. So those levels they can break intraday, but they should not be broken and sustained on the daily closing, because if that is done, it will make markets really, really weak. So just keep that point in mind, please. The other thing is, if you look at the intraday charts of Nifty, I'll start with the top-down approach, because technicals are a top-down approach. In fact, you can see Nifty is showing some kind of overbalance of time and price, something that you must be aware if you attend my seminars. The other thing is inside bar, alt candle, inside continuation. So yes, the selling aggressive comes only below this, but it doesn't mean the markets can't come here and then again bounce back. It can always do that. One thing I'll simply explain is that the markets, today have underperformed all over sector wide. It's underperformed, and even the VIX, even though it's cooled off on the intraday front, but it's still high as compared to 12, 13, 14, 15, what it was a couple of weeks back, a couple of months back. 18 is a high VIX, and that's why premiums are very expensive. They're not dirt cheap anymore. That's why, I've been saying, if you are on my other platforms where I keep on conversing with the clients, I always said, when the VIX is low, yes, volatility will not be much, but use that low VIX to build up positions on farther away expiries, because when the VIX becomes high, those things are very darn expensive. But again, tomorrow's plan is very, very simple. I have something clear in my mind that I want to execute, and I will keep it in touch also on Telegram tomorrow. We have a massive support at 17,600. So right now, I think SGX Nifty is flattish. I'll say it's flattish. It's not a gap up. So if SGX Nifty, forget SGX Nifty, if Nifty is opening in something like this territory, 600 to a small gap down to something like a 630, 640, that would be called a flat opening. If Nifty is opening in a flattish territory, and if you get 15-minute closings, or if you start to get pressure below the level that we've specified, 15, 17 or 600, if the market opening flattish or a small gap up or a small gap down. So basically, I would say from 17,640 all the way till this range. If the market opens there, and if it starts to come down in the very first 15, 30 minutes, because see, if selling has to come in, it will come in fast, it will come in hot, because already the market is at support. It's not going to wait for the market to go back up and then come back down. So if the market wants to come down, it will open flat. And if you get a good 15, 5-minute, anything closing below that, you can take short. Have a small stop loss and you can take short. And I think markets will show you that aggressive momentum on the downside then, because the level has become very, very fragile. For all the people who attended my seminars in the last 4 cities, this is the scenario where we will be using the rule of first 1 hour. So I'll be updating that in your WhatsApp groups, in the respective seminar WhatsApp groups. The other thing is try to understand when the selling pressure comes in. It's going to come in first of all till 17,530. That's very, very important, because not only is that a very important support that you can see right now, but it is also the daily 20 moving average. So I think that level will become very, very important for every one of you. The daily 20 moving average, as you can see on the chart top left corner, is 17,530. So observe something tomorrow. Is the market closing below 17,530? Or is it closing above 17,530? Because if the market starts to close below 530, then the lower Bollinger Band levels will start to open up. So just keep that point in mind as well. That will act as a good daily support, not intraday support, but a good daily closing support. The other thing is, so if it opens up, you can expect a good momentum till 530. I think 70 point will not be difficult. And then there is actually no crucial level on the downside, not much support. So we will see how it goes away. We'll use some trailing tools and we will try to trail the position. But I would say the trigger is if the market opens flat and starts to come down, that is somewhere where I will take some shots in the market. But the important part is, please wait for at least one 15-minute candle to break down, but don't just buy just because you're opening flat, right? Just keep that point in mind. The other thing is, what if the market opens somewhere on the gap upside? Because if the market opens in the gap upside, don't take a call there. If the market opens very, very big gap up, then scenario is different. Then maybe the first 15-minute candle will look something like this, like a hammer, but then it can continue higher because you're opening above all the resistances and all the shorts have to cover who've done it today. But if the market is opening somewhere, let us say over here, then the market will become volatile. It will become volatile in the sense, first it will come down, it will test the support, then it will try to make a W or a consolidation, and then it will continue slowly and slowly and slowly higher. So if the markets are opening gap up, quite a big gap up above this level of, you can say, the level that I've given you, 673, something like that. If the market opens a big gap up, then if you are doing a short in the market, that will be maximum again till the levels of 600 only. I hope my view is clear. If it is not clear, write to me, but I hope it's clear. See the video again and it should be clear. I have told you I am precise what I do. I take time because I have to present out a view. I have to give you all different scenarios. Same thing applies to Bank Nifty. I don't think it requires a lot of different changes. If Bank Nifty's also come to the level again and again and again. So if Bank Nifty opens in the flattish territory, so I would say anything below 37,500. So if it opens below that, and if the markets start to come down, 5-minute closing below, 15-minute closing below the levels, the lows today, that can give you a selling pressure. And already Bank Nifty has a gap that has yet not been filled. So I will not be surprised if the gap comes and gets filled. That's only a 300-point gap. So 100 point in Nifty is easily a 300-point on Bank Nifty equivalent. So just keep that point in mind. But the important thing is the short will not come. Number one, don't buy call in the morning. First thing is very important. Don't buy call in the morning. Even if you open a small gap up or something, don't buy call, because there are much more probability. You can say it's very, very highly skewed that the first market will first come down, and after a gap up, it will take a support and then it will come up. It will not come up in a V-shaped recovery, but then the markets are expected to be volatile and you will have to wait for Monday before you plan an aggressive trade. That is everything I have to discuss. I took about 25-30 minutes, but I think this will offer you clarity in the markets. Just one thing, if the markets start to come down, 17,400 is a buy zone, because on the bigger chart, 17,400, at the same time, the levels of 36,900, they are strong support. So if you get reason to buy, you can always look for far away expiries and try to buy some quantities, or you can try to buy some equity also there, having a small stop loss below them. Same is the case with Nifty, 17,400, etc. 300. They are very, very strong supports. Unless until they are broken, big shorts don't happen. So if you markets come back here, I hope you're sitting on some cash. You can try to buy some quantity and maybe the markets again continue the trajectory higher. Also, don't forget, don't be very serious on what happens on monthly expiries. Tomorrow, entirely different thing could happen. So with that, I think I should end the video. Enjoy it, cherish it, and anything that you have, let me know, guys. Thank you all for the support. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and means a lot to me. Thank you, guys. Cheers. See you tomorrow.